Let me just angle our camera kasi maayos na kanina, biglang ewan. Okay, so good morning everyone. Alam ko karamihan sa inyo tulog pa or puyat because of the recent na Miss Globe and Miss Intercontinental na back-to-back na pageants na puyatan yung time zone nila. So I would hope that later on doon sa ating discussion medyo dumami tayo para maka ano ma, 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 mapag mapagsama-sama natin yung mga kuro-kuro natin with regards to what happened in the pageant, because I think that this year we had a very interesting na year in terms of our campaigns for Miss Intercontinental and Miss Globe na pageant, and I am just hoping that later on magkaroon tayo ng understanding o magkaroon tayo ng moving on with what happened in these two international pageants. Now, ano muna tayo? Let's see, may mga attendance na tayo. Ayan, Pageant Bits, hello po. Hello, kumusta? I hope na hindi kayo masyado puyat kasi dalawang araw din itong halos walang tulog ang mga pageant fans dito sa Pilipinas because of the anticipation of what's happening in the international competitions ni Gabby at saka ni Chelsea. Ayan, as you can see, medyo Christmas na yung theme ko sa background. It just so happened that as early pa lang as September, gusto ko na mag-decorate ng Christmas sa bahay. So kinda early Christmas kasi after having a very shitty na the past year, I think I kinda deserve a little bit of cheering up. Okay, there, let's roll call. Okay, Jorn Trevor Jacobson, hello po from Boston, Massachusetts. I think that's in 8-hour or 10-hour difference from the Philippines. So hello there. Avid fan of Tita L din dito. Yes, I think magpapalive din si Tita Love mamayang gabi, if I'm not mistaken. Tatanungin ko siya kasi magkikita kami mamaya doon sa Mr. and Mrs. Mrs. tuloy. Mr. and Miss Chinatown na press presentation ng mga candidates later on. So okay, let's start muna yung conversation ng ng what happened. To be honest, I don't know. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung nangyari. Hindi ko masabi yung ano yung naisip nung mga org na ito na parang there. Kinabahan ako doon. Biglang nawala yung live natin. Okay. So Jorn says it's a 12-hour difference. So that would mean na 9 p.m. na dyan sa inyo. Okay, so good evening sa mga nasa Boston, Massachusetts, sa US. Okay, pageant beats, same. I love it when Sir Jessen and Tita El share their pageant insights. Thank you. Actually, magandang kombinasyon sana na mag-live kami pareho ni Tita. Because of this, hindi ko masabi kung ano ba. I cannot explain why I am so agitated with what happened dito sa Miss Intercon, because there are two factors. Something na any country can easily replicate. I am more hopeful of a sandwich win because I think that is more plausible. But with what happened with Gabby and Chelsea, I find it, disconcerting because performance-wise, I think they had the best, or they were one of the best in their respective international competitions. So, yun yung dahilan kung bakit tayo nagpapalive ngayon kasi I think we need to move past this kasi may laban pa si Roanne, and with all due respect to her, we also need to pay attention to her competition kahit na alam natin na hindi tayo masyado emotionally invested with the Miss Grand International na pageant. In fact, have a pending na mga recording sesh on what I think about Rowan's chances in winning, ano yung masasabi ko sa kanyang competition, ano yung naipapakita niya so far. And I think she is one of the underserved na mga candidates natin na is competing right now. Compared to Gabby and Chelsea, I think masyado nating napagtuunan ng pansin yung competition ni Gabby and ni Chelsea that we also need to give some love kay Rowan. Ayan. You there. EJ Belge, sabi niya, finally, I caught the CubSat. Good evening from Surrey, British Columbia, right? BC. I'm assuming that's in British Columbia in Canada. So hello, EJ. May tanong na kagad si Pageant Bits. Have you seen the latest IG live of Gabby and Emma? Very prank kasi Gabby telling na may mga teas na dapat i-spill this year's edition. Mamaya pag-usapan natin yan. Kasi ako din, meron akong tea na gusto kong i-spill regarding the competition. Hindi ko lang masabi sa ngayon kung ano yon, but hintayin natin na dumami ang mga tao. So, please like and share the live para dumami tayo sa conversation na ito. Now, let's to give the benefit of the doubt with the organization, let's discuss muna siguro yung mga notes ko on regarding the perspective that I see with regards to the international competitions. In defense of the org, I think that how they are picking their winners is something in service to the own org. It's something that would help the org, either gain more social media clout, gain more followers on social media, gain more attention, to gain more popularity. And they needed to, perhaps crown girls that would serve their agenda. I think that is common in any pageant because ultimately, kailangan din nilang kumita, kailangan din nilang magkaroon ng sort of stronger brand power yung kanilang name. And I think we've seen that with other international competitions that are crowning Asian girls this year. And even last year, let's be frank, it became also a benefit for us because we had two international winners this last year in the Binibining Pilipinas pageant alone. So, hindi ko pwedeng ialis dun sa conversation the fact na nakinabang din tayo doon sa momentum of crowning Asian winners in the past 2-3 years. So, I think nakinabang din tayo because we are given, exposure, we were given titles, and nabigyan din kasi sila ng importansya, which we saw during the Binibining Pilipinas pageant na both Miss Intercontinental and Miss Globe nabigyan ng exposure doon sa pageant ng Binibining Pilipinas. So I think that is something that naisip siguro ng mga international competitions na ito na wait lang, we were able to get media mileage, we were able to get we were able to be rubbed off with the brand equity ng Binibining Pilipinas and gain international following, gain exposure, gain a little bit more credence to their names. So that was probably a light bulb moment from them na sige, mangurona tayo ng Asian this year para natapos na nating makonquer yung Asia, yung Filipino na market, then let's conquer the Thai and the Vietnamese na market, the Indonesian market, because there is wealth of social media following and social media clout in those other countries. So I am not very surprised na last year we had a lot of Asian winners, including our Miss Universe, who is also from Asia, despite although not from Southeast Asia. Still there is the momentum going on for pageants is actually in Latin America and Asia. So I am very confident na magtutuloy-ituloy itong trend of Asian winners. So I will not be surprised later on if Miss USA Arbony Gabriel is going to be the next Miss Universe kasi she covers both the American and the Asian market, especially the Filipino market. So I will have a separate, discussion on that later on. But let's go back to the organization. Kung bakit ito ngayon yung kanilang mga move. Syempre, nakikinabang sila doon sa doon sa exposure na nakukuha nila sa atin being, very rabid, very engaged, very involved na pageant fans. So, it means that the more engagement that they get, the more social media clout that they get. And of course, any pageant would love to would enjoy that kind of attention, would enjoy that kind of enjoy that kind of exposure. So, hindi ako magtataka that later on, after getting the exposure, we will see Asian countries hosting their international pageants because meron na silang winners to make it easier for these national orgs to get the approval of these international pageants to be hosted in their localities, in their countries. So we've seen this being established again and again, na talagang strong yung mga Asians in the past couple of years, including this year, simply because this is where the pageant momentum is at. Nasa Asia ngayon yung pera, nasa Asia ngayon yung focus, nasa Asia ngayon yung attention, and therefore, it makes sense that pageant orgs would ride in where, they follow where the money is, basically. So, it is, parang ang sakit niyang pag-usapan na pera-pera na lang yan. But again, we have to understand that at the end of the day, economics is important in the discussion of pageants. Kasi hindi naman bibigyan tayo ng pansin ng mga orgs na ito. Hindi naman sila kukuha ng mga Filipino na winners kung wala silang mahihita out of it, right? And the only way that we make our wins very deserving is we work hard for it, and that is why I commend our Filipina candidates, representatives from the Binibining Pilipinas org because tinabaho talaga nila yung competition, and they really did their homework. Okay, let's read muna some comments before I continue kasi medyo marami akong gustong sabihin eh. Okay, pageant bits. Share the live, guys. Yes, please share the live. And also, hit the like button as well. There is this plan to stage Miss Globe in Manila next year. So, but with the snub to Chelsea, is that still feasible? I am not sure, EJ, Belge, with regards to that. I haven't heard anything about the Miss Globe being held here in Manila. What I have heard is the possibility of holding Miss International here in Manila in 2023. That is what I am hoping and banking on that will happen. But if the Miss Globe is planned to be here in Manila, sino pa ba ako para mag-complain? I mean, we've seen naman Maureen really give her all in the organization. Nakita naman natin na kahit na siya yung reigning queen, nagpapasabog pa rin siya, leading to the finals of the Miss Globe pageant. I am just hoping na sana nabigyan din naman sana ng mas meatier meatier and more productive reign si Maureen by the organization. But I still understand that with the limitations of travel, limitations of other national orgs na mag-stage ng kanilang mga pageants na hindi sila makapag-invite ng mga international queens because of financial limitations from the COVID pandemic that happened to them. So I understand that. I just hope that they have utilized Maureen's presence, because I think Maureen was able to level up the Miss Globe image na kaya din pala ng Miss Globe na kumorona ng mga very extremely gorgeous na mga girls for their pageant. Ayan, Aiko Tagaro says that I don't think they were robbed. It's unfair to say that because other girls also prepared. Back-to-back is high expectations, but it is not impossible. But well, it's up to the judges and the org. Okay, I think that's a very valid point. I think that's that's something that is very well said in terms of kung ano yung need ng content. However, I also think that there is also a need for the orgs to recognize good performances. It needs to be a balance of understanding that they have obligations to the org na kailangan nilang i-fulfill, but at the same time they also have a responsibility to be fair to their candidates, so that they need to reward good performances, to reward performances that are of high caliber. John Trevor Jacob said, I think it's still unfair for ladies who performed well, yet a big chunk of scoring is based on economic reasons. Agree. Dorothy V. Jones, hey, hello Dorothy, welcome to the channel again. Let's read your comments. Sandali lang. Pinoy fans should learn to view pageants more maturely. Don't demand a victory every year. The candidate, her org, her team, and her kababayans must work for it. I agree. I think it's a collective, it's a collective pageant campaign that involves not just the girls team and herself, but also the Filipino pageant fandom. But I also want to reward excellence when we see one. Yes, agree. A big fan of yours, Aiko Tagaro. Thank you, Aiko. Nakakatawa naman ng puso. Ayan. Dominic Martin Mission says na ano to? Wait lang. Not a fan of Chelsea, though. Okay. Wrong hyphenation na. Not a fan of Chelsea, though, but damn, she performed that night. Agree. Dominic Martin is from Perth, Australia. Hello down there. Tama ba? 6 hours, 4 hours yung time difference natin. So, I hope na gising pa kayo dyan if it's already approaching evening, or baka naman approaching morning pa lang kayo dyan. Okay, so let's talk about let's further talk about yung sinabi ko about crowning Asians for clout. I think that's something na hindi natin maalis sa mga pageants. Kahit Miss Universe, kahit na anong national or international pageant, they really need to crown a girl that they think that is that is going to make their organizations better, that would provide something to the table, that would uplift the organization at whatever points that they want to, or whatever reasons. The problem with that is that even if as Asians nababahagian tayo nung biyaya nung advantage na yon, I also believe that kinakailangan din kasi na medyo fair din sana yung mga orgs in relegating placements, in giving the girls what is due them, what is owed them. Because excellent performances needs to be rewarded commensurately. Yun lang yung akin. I know that it's an advantage for Asians right now in competing in international pageants, but I also believe that just because it is an advantage, hindi pwedeng petics na lang yung mga girls na pinapadala natin, or yung mga girls na nagre-represent ng any of the Asian countries involved. Kinakailangan that whatever advantage that you have, you make sure that you give the commensurate amount of performance, of high caliber na execution ng iyong pageant plans, in order for you to be worthy of the title that you are aiming for. Kasi hindi naman maganda tignan na you already have that advantage, pero hindi mo trinabaho. Parang it just came on, parang it was just given to you. And I think that is one of the reasons why our girls or fans, Filipino fans, are very passionate about Gabby and Chelsea. Simply because we know in ourselves that the Filipina girls gave their best. Hindi naman kaila hindi mo pwedeng i-deny the fact that the two girls performed were some of the best performers in the respective international competitions. I think yung like for example, yung nangyari kay Gabby, I think that Gabby was arguably, the best in the performance in Asia. Although I think that it might have been a toss between Thailand and Gabby that night. I think for me personally that Gabby performed, na level up niya yung performance niya sa Binibining Pilipinas to the Miss Intercontinental. If you look at her first try at Binibining Pilipinas in 2021 and then in earlier this year, nag-level up yung overall na performance niya. She might not have, the kind of aura that the Miss Intercontinental is looking for, but I think that there should be a commensurate, reward to her overall performance. Gulat din ako that it was Miss Vietnam who won the title. Perhaps there are qualities that Miss Vietnam has that the organization is looking for, and kudos to her for being the kind of person that the organization is looking for. But I also believe that you give the commensurate reward to the girl who performed. I know na because of the intercontinental na competitions within within their group, it's harder to make top 6. But if ihihilera ko yung performance ni na Gabby, ni Miss Vietnam at saka ni Miss Thailand, that for me personally, based on what I've seen, based on my personal tastes, I think that it was supposed to be a fight between Thailand and the Philippines for the continental title. But then again, that's just me. I know there are things na happening behind the scenes that I will be talking about later on. But dun muna tayo. Let's keep a level head, discussion first before dumaan tayo dun sa mga patsaa kasi even before the coronation even before the finals night, bago pa ay siya mag-umpisa, I already was tipped off na walang back-to-back na mangyayari. And we will discuss that later on. Now, let's talk about Chelsea naman. With regards to Chelsea, kita nyo naman kung gaano kapulido yung kanyang performance. Flawless. It was, I would say that both Gabby and Chelsea performed as if they were competing at one of the bigger international titles like pang Miss Universe, pang Miss World International Earth, yung kanilang level of performance na ipinakita doon sa kanilang respective na international competitions, and I would have wanted that they rewarded them for that. I don't necessarily mean that kinakailangan kumorona tayo, that we should have won, but I would have appreciated that there was at least a top 6 finish for the girls mentioned, because everybody was raving about their performances, how they really created a lasting impression in the competition. And kung finals ang pagbabasehan at finals yung ang basis ng paano sa kumorona, then by all means, kinakailangan mabigyan sila ng spot doon sa top 5. That is what I think. That's my opinion. But kung sasabihin nila na kasama din yung mga performances nila throughout the competition, throughout the pageant proper, pre-pageant na activities, then saan nagkulang ang Pilipinas? Because from what I see, Gabby nailed the swimsuit na competition where they were all wearing black bikinis. Chelsea was head-to-head challenge winner. So saan yung butas ng performance ng mga girls na yon? Kasi hindi ko makitaan ng butas kung saan sila nagkaroon ng major dip in the competition. So I hope to make transparency on that portion. Now, balik tayo dun sa Asian clout. Isa din sa mga na-feel ko is that one of the things that I am currently feeling right now is that Asians in general, especially Southeast Asian fans, whether it's from Indonesia, whether it's from Thailand, whether it's from the Philippines or Vietnam, I think that we were used by these pageants in order to increase their social media clout, in order to gain monetary gains from us, in order to get, social media mileage. And you can see how the pageant was, was held. Kung paano yung results ng pageants na nangyari. The fact that doon sa voting, nag-invest ang pamilya ni Chelsea, ang team ni Chelsea, and even her backers, the pro-media people sa kanyang campaign, sa voting, naglabas sila ng pera. Yung kamag-anak ni Chelsea, naglabas ng pera. That, and to see her be in the top two of the voting, that is no fluke. Talagang nilaban ni Chelsea and her team yung kanyang back-to-back campaign, and wala tayong maipintas doon. So kung sasabihin nila na sa pre-pageant nila kinuha yung mga rankings ng mga final 5, final 6 ng competition, then that should speak of itself na Chelsea performed, even Gabby performed. So walang butas na mahahanapan or in the overall performance of the girls, in my opinion, because they did exemplary well in every stage of the competition, mula sa OOTD hanggang finals night. And the only reason that I think that they were prevented from the top 6, top 5 is that if they were given the microphone, they would have blown the entire competition out of the water. And I think that, takot sila na humawak ng mic ng dalawang to because they were very trained. They were very prepared for that aspect. How would I know? Simply because si Gabby was trained by Tito Boy Abunda prior to her national and international competition. That is what I know. I know for a fact that for Binibining Pilipinas, Gabby was given pointers by Tito Boy for the competition, and nagpasalamat din naman si Gabby doon sa social media niya kay Tito Boy with regards to her with regards to his help in preparing her for the competition. So same thing with Chelsea, as you've seen her during the send-off, mas fluid na siya, mas komportable na siyang magsalita, and she's able to really communicate well. So in terms of communication skills, I think those are possible reasons that in order for you not to advance these girls, cut them out from the top 5, kasi pag bumula ang bibig nila sa Q&A, wala na kayong rason para hindi ibigay sa kanila yung back-to-back na title. And I think, well, again, that's my opinion. I think my opinion can be wrong sometimes, but from how I see it, from my optics, yun yung nakikita kong optics ngayon. It's not, masakit siyang tanggapin, pero it's something that we have to really deal now. Kasi if we don't deal about these issues now, parang out of focus tayo later on kapag competition na nina Jenny Ramp for Miss Earth at saka ni Rowan for MGI later on. Excuse lang. Sorry. Ganun talagang nangyayari sa akin kapag natutuyaan na ako ng throat. Now, as I said, fair is fair. Feeling ko talaga nagamit tayo sa voting sa social media, especially the fact that I think that both Thailand and the Philippines gumastos ng sobra sa what do you call this, sa voting ng Miss Globe, and yung mga tao really were pushing for Miss Thailand and Gabby in Miss Intercontinental. They were really, very aggressive on social media, yung dalawang girls na yon. So, I just feel that, yun na nga, nagamit yung mga fans ng mga orgs in such a very blatant manner. I'm saying na I think that lahat naman ng mga pageant orgs ginagamit din tayo for clout. It's just that napaka in your face at naramdam ko yung we were used. So, yun. Let's start muna with the comments para tuloy-tuloy ang usapan natin in the bit. Magandang umaga, Jason. Sabi ni Dorothy V. Jones, magandang umaga din sa'yo, Dorothy. Pageant Bits is saying Chelsea was a clear standout. Agree. Hindi man siya yung pinaka facially na maganda sa kanila. I think overall siya yung pinakahinog, kahit na bigger international competitions for ilagay, magpe-perform si Chelsea. I think that the rest medyo a bit hilaw. The only girl that I think na nalalapit kay Chelsea when it comes to performance was Miss Venezuela. Now going back to pageant bits, to simply deny her a top 5 spot is very telling how the org is trying to shear away from a possible back-to-back due to our girls' communication skills, which exactly what I said. EJ says, yes, BC is British Columbia. So, hello there in Canada. Perth and Manila, sabi ni Dominic, shares the same time zone. Okay, which means na may oras ka para makipagchikahan ngayon with us here in our live. Aiko Tagaro is saying na reminiscing MJI last year of crowning Vietnam. 6 million followers ba ang target na what? We still hasn't reached that 6 million. Haha. As of yesterday, FB followers for MGI page is 5.2. The point kasi is Aiko is that kahit nasabihin natin na hindi niya na-reach yung 6 million, yung 5.2 malapit na yon. The mere fact that may maraming nadagdag sa following ng pageant niya, it means that effective siya, pinag-usapan siya. So there. Rodvin Fiel, hello! Kumusta? You're joining us. Okay. Na-shout out na rin ang attendance ni Rodvin. Okay. Dominic Martin says, yes, waiting for the tea. Okay. Also, Rodvin is saying na mga totga si Gabby and Chelsea. Pero okay naman na yung placement nila. Basta nag-enjoy at di sila na-Rabia level stress, di ba? EJ Belge, Vietnam has been predetermined to win. Even Cindy mentioned that Vietnam will possibly win when she visited the country. So Gabby can never advance to the top 5. If she's from Africa, she'll advance. Si Gab and Chelsea never nag-whine sa Sokmed like Rabia did. Hahaha. Ikaw talaga, Aiko. Tapos na tayo sa mga drama ni Rabia in Miss Universe in 2020. So, happy na siya sa showbiz career niya. Ayan. A. Fernandez, I agree that the org seem to have used Asia for the voting and promotions. Diba? Sabi ko nga I really felt that. I was actually hoping na baka ako lang. But I think nag-post si Tita L. Mamaya, pag pag-usapan namin yan. Nag-post si Tita L na parang ginamit nga daw tayo. Parang na-feel din niya na parang ginamit nga tayo ng mga orgs na to. And kung na-feel ko yun at na-feel niya yun, pag-uusapan namin yan mamaya pag magkita kami. Because I really am agitated with what happened. And perfect yung event later on kasi it helps that you have someone from the industry, from the pageant coverage, pageant media na industry that you can communicate with, that you can throw ideas, thoughts, and opinions with in a very intelligent manner. Denshio, hello Denshio, welcome to the channel. Yes, tama. Enough na doon sa maawa naman na tayo kay Redia. Bugbog naman na siya masyado. Thank you din sa sinabi mo. For those wondering, what he said was enough of Rabia. That was years ago. It was so unfortunate for Rabia because the toxicity of Filipino pageant fans. EJ Belge is now saying, I think for Chelsea, back-to-back win is difficult, but at least a top 5 is an easy task. But Gabby was extremely difficult because of the continental constraint. Without that, Gabby can easily advance. Agree. And isa pa sa tingin ko na nakapagpahirap nung na nakakasama ng loob. Or rather nakaka-hurt was the fact when Miss Mias went here during the send-off ng mga queens, was that she said to the pageant media that a back-to-back win is not impossible. But the tone of voice that she used, or because the kind of the way that she said it made us feel na kaya okay. Well, I think I left off to doon sa Miss Mias. Kasi when she said na a back-to-back is impossible, it made us feel very hopeful. Na umasa kami na yes, it is possible. It is something that can happen, provided that Chelsea trabahuin niya yung competition, which she did. And now to see the results na she did well on head-to-head, she did well on the votings, she did well on the finals night, and yet she was prevented from making top 5. That to me, parang pinaasa lang, parang lumalaba, parang ang pakiramdam is umasa tayo sa wala. Ganun 'yon. Okay, May Angko, I really love your in-depth analysis, Sir Jason, not biased but based on facts. Thank you, May. I try to make it balance. I try to find the perspective of the org. At the same time, I also don't want to invalidate feelings ng Filipino pageant fans, kasi ako din as more than a blogger, more than a writer, pageant writer, I am also first and foremost a pageant fan like everybody else. And with that, being first and foremost in the entire conversation of thinking, talking, speaking about pageants, I think that mas nakaka-relate ako sa pakiramdam ng mga fans ngayon, because we were led on. Yun yung pakiramdam. We were led on by these two orgs that they will be fair, that they will be treating the girls, our girls, fairly, and with by giving them what is commensurate to their performances. Yun lang. Next is Joal. Globe gamit tayo, di ba, Miss Pilar? Yun na nga, nagamit tayo sa voting. Pero hindi rin naman siguro kasalanan ni Miss Pilar. Kasi, syempre, she's also doing her job. She needs to promote the organization. So, I mean, she's also just doing her job. Kumbaga, parang, I cannot fault her for hyping us up, kasi kasalanan din natin na nadala tayo doon sa bugso ng damdamin natin na yes, kaya natin to. Sila na mismo nagsabi na kaya natin to, na don't worry Chelsea, you're in my team now, at chuchuchu, yung mga gano'n, na parang it made us feel like it is something that is workable. And given also dun sa sinabi ni Pilar na just do your best, ganyan. So, ano pa ba ang best na pwedeng gawin ni Chelsea na hindi niya ibinigay? Kasi I think in terms of performance, she went beyond what every other girl did in terms of technical aspect of their performances. Yun. Keith Kendrick, dapat by this time alam na natin na hindi credible si... Ayoko muna. Ay, wag na. Wag ko nang ituloy ha, Keith. Kasi baka malibel tayo. Mahirap na. At saka ayokong pag dumalaw siya sa Pilipinas, i-single out niya ako at sabihan niya ako na ikaw, dinig ko yung sinabi mo about me, di ba? Mahirap na. Dorothy V. Jones, I am aware that leaving some pageant decisions to the camps makes a lot of financial sense, but I still believe that BPCI should oversee more of their candidates' competition details. I agree. Iba pa din kasi pag very hands-on yung national org. I think yun yung medyo tayo ngayon. Medyo we're having sort of hindi naman imbalance, but more of like we need to find a way na may say din ang binibining Pilipinas do sa preparations ng ating mga girls. And, trabahuin din ng org, yung mga international orgs na to para kasi kung ibang orgs ginagapang na yung sorry about that. Kung other orgs are actively pursuing itong mga international na mga pageant orgs na to, siguro it's about high time that BPCI would be more aggressive in that sense. I'm sure gets nyo na yun. Intelihente naman ng mga Filipino fans na syempre read between the lines, di ba? Mga box. Okay, A. Hernandez. They crowned the queen with 2K plus followers. I don't get Miss Globe saying that they wanted an influencer. Same thing here. And then somebody told me na hindi daw nagpo-post si girl about the pageant. So, good luck na lang, di ba? Sanang influencer dyan. Jordan Trevor Jacobson. Neighboring countries shouldn't blame us if we sometimes complain with the rankings. Filipino queens always, or most of the time, perform better than those who place in the top 5. On the technical aspect, I agree. Because that's one of the basis of, judging. The thing kasi is that I am having difficulty making sense and aligning on is paano yung judging process. If it is very subjective, paano yung are they scored on the technical merits ng mga girls? Tinitignan ba yung, like for example, gaano kalinis sila mag-perform on stage? Or malaking aspect sa kanila is yung behavior during the pre-pageant na activity, di ba? Parang there needs to be like a sort of, okay, kinakailangan bigyan natin ng linaw to. Ayun. Orven Mortel is saying that parang super lang mga yan. After ma-elevate recognition sa kanila after PH win, dead man na. Panay paasa na lang. In fairness naman to the Miss Intercontinental and Miss Globe na pageants. Sa Miss Globe, remember kapag ang Pilipinas nagpapadala sa Miss Globe for the past, I think 6-7 years, the only time na wala tayo sa top 5 were Chelsea and Michelle, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. In the past, every time that we send girls there, parati tayong runner-up. I remember after Ann Collis won in 2015, third runner-up si Nicole Manalo, and then we have Rowie na nag-fourth runner-up. We have Nelda Ibe na nag-first runner-up in 2017, and then we have Leren na second runner-up in 2019. Tama ba? So, I think naman na napagbigyan din naman tayo ng Miss Globe. It's just that for this case, may doble yung pait or doble yung may extra na kurot kasi nga we were all, in the hopes that a back-to-back is possible kasi napaasa tayo yun. But then again, I remember in a conversation with Maureen during the Super Buds na na competition where, you know, Kirk Bondad won earlier this year. Sinabi niya sa amin na once you win one of the challenges at binigyan ka ng corona, asahan mong bye-bye crown ka na. So, totoo yun. You've heard that, you know, not just from me, but from other pageant pages as well, na nabanggit nga daw ni Ann Collis yun sa kanya, nabanggit niya din sa amin na in her experience, ganun din. So, I think, you know, it is valid na kapag may special award ka na, parang bye-bye crown ka na, because if I'm not mistaken, dapat yung national costume ni Maureen last year was supposed to be the winners. Rumor, allegedly, rumor lang yon, pero hindi daw binigay ng org yung title na Best in National Costume sa kanya dahil they were reserving the Miss Globe crown for her. I don't know kung totoo yon, pero chismis, and kung medyo may katungkulan, medyo may mapapahamak ako nito. Kung medyo may medyo connected yung nagsabi sa amin, then it must have some iota of truth to it, right? So there. Sige, basa pa tayo ng mga comments. I forgot also to mention that with Miss Intercontinental din naman, we also were treated well din naman with Miss Intercon. Having Karen Gallman win, and then having Cindy win, you know, those are unexpected na tawag ito na blessing for us, unexpected na mga titles for us, but we welcome those wins as, you know, pinaghirapan din ng mga girls. So I think that it kind of balances it out. Na yes, we are griping, whining, to some extent. We are complaining, but yung complaints natin based on what we saw in the competition, diba? Nakinabang tayo dun sa mga wins ni na Karen, ni na Maureen, ni na Cindy, and Ann in the past. But what we also want is that be rewarded yung mga yung mga girls natin when they perform, when very very obvious naman na yung performance nila talong-talo yung mga nakapasok sa top 5, di ba? Hindi ko pwede sabihin yung comment mo, EJ. Nabudol tayo ni blank and blank. BPSI needs a team overseeing social media engagement of their candidates and in gathering support for them. Perhaps I'm hoping na we can learn something from this para we can tweak our how we approach the back-to-back challenges. Ayan. Roscoe. Hey, hi Roscoe. Kumusta? Hi there from in Guam. Hi Jason. I hope your trip to Seoul was... Yes, it was. Love the... How hectic the entire trip was. Medyo pagod. I was hoping that I have like maybe an hour or two in between the trip that I can, record. Pero hindi parang bawat oras may kailangan na gawin for the trip, and if you're not, you're not there for the tour, yung travel time mo kumakain sa oras na na gusto mo sanang mag-record. And then pag sa gabi, we usually arrive at our hotel at around 10-11 p.m. na. Tapos gigising kami ng around 6 because the call time is around 7. So parang hectic yung araw para makapag-record. That's why if you've watched yung recording ko sa possibility ng back-to-back ni na Chelsea and Gabby, it was recorded while we were on the mismong tourist spot kasi wala akong oras talaga na mag-record. I thought I have like around 7 p.m. to like 10 p.m. na makapag-record, pero yung entire trip was booked kami until 10-11 in the evening ng gagawin ng pupuntahan. So yon. I particularly love the Nami Island tour at saka yung book kong na tour where we had to wear hanbok. Ayun. Aiko Tagaro, praying for our first Golden Crown. Yes, same here. I'm hoping, praying, and wishing that the Golden Crown farewell gift na ni Uncle sa atin. Ayan. Hope Glidel medalya, hoping na makuha ni Roan ang MGI crown. Yes, get well soon, Roberta. Ay, may sakit pa si Roan ngayon. I hope na she gets well soon kasi malapit na yung kanyang finals. Andy 465, I feel that Miss Goob tries to balance when to give the crown to the Philippines. Tinitimpla nila yung timing. Yan ang feeling ko. I agree. Masakit lang kasi binigay ni Chelsea yung all niya. Hindi nagkulang si Chelsea mismo and her team in her campaign. So I think that is something na painful with the experience. Now, let's talk now about the performance ni na Chelsea and ni na Gabby, because I think that despite the odds of having a back-to-back na challenge, these two girls gave their best. Hindi sila nagpatumpik-tumpik sa mga movements nila, sa mga campaigns nila, sa campaign materials nila, pulido, malinis. The photos, the videos that they've presented were all, very well thought out or very well planned. Yung campaign ni Chelsea was particularly well executed, because from head-to-head challenges to the voting to the OOTDs until to the finals night, the performance, wala kang maipintas. With Gabby, she gave like the fight of her life. Every day, yung mga pasabog niyang outfits, well planned. Yung kanyang performance from the different legs, different challenges, very wala kang maipintas dun sa technical capability niya na maglakad sa presentation niya. Even the national costume niya na leaves us wanting on the aesthetics nung overall na what do you call this? Overall na outcome ng costume. The concept was very brilliant. Medyo kinulang ng konti. I would have to agree on that, on the execution, but it was out of the box. And yung bawat video na lumalabas from her team showed us a very well planned out na campaign, despite the fact that napakaliit yung kanilang preparation time nung team niya from the time she was crowned until she flew for the competition. I think nakasama sa atin yung end of July na finals ng Binibining Pilipinas, because we could have had more time to prepare for the international competitions. That is why I'm excited na sana maibalik nila ng around May or at least April man lang, sana yung finals ng Binibining Pilipinas next year. And definitely they are trying na hindi umabot ng June or July yung pageant next year. So I am keeping my fingers crossed for that na to happen. And in terms of yung gown, yung OOTDs ni Gabby, wala akong masabi kasi even the gown, it actually reminds me of a Egyptian couture na collection ni John Galliano for Christian Dior. And maalala ko pa ang soundtrack noon, pinaghalong Walk Like an Egyptian ng The Bangles and yung Baby Boy ni Rihanna with ni Beyonce. So ganun yung what I remember from that collection. So very very Filipino yung patterns na ginamit niya, pero at the same time it selected patterns that could pass off like mga Egyptian na hieroglyphics at chuchu. So medyo maganda yung medyo maganda yung blending paano ginawa ng team niya yung kanyang evening gown. So everything for her was like out of the box. Very on point yung kanyang styling. Very planado yung kanyang evening gown. So it goes to show the reason why Gabby was best in swimsuit and best in evening gown in Binibining Pilipinas. Because in terms of technical aspect, in terms of preparation for those aspect of the competition, wala kang maipinta sa performance ni Gabby. Next, I also have to commend Gabby and Chelsea because from what I've heard na talks from the inside was that they were already like concerned na hindi sila mabibigyan ng fair shot for that back-to-back title. Pero still nilaban pa rin nila. I can see it in the eyes of Gabby that there is some spark that was lost during the competition. Kasi parang ang feel ko, alam na niya na hindi bibigay sa kanya yung back-to-back na title. And I've heard, ito yun, ang tsaa na ayaw daw ng org na magkaroon ng back-to-back na win this year. I think tama yung observation natin na Asian domination ang gusto nilang mangyari. So iniisa-isa nila yung nabigyan ng corona yung mga Asian countries, especially yung very rabid na fans ng mga countries in the Southeast Asia na region. So hindi ako magtataka that in the next 2 or 3 years magkaroon tayo ng mga Thai, Indonesian, more Vietnamese and more Filipina winners sa international competition kasi nga we are the one that gives them space on social media, gives them clout on social media. Now, another thing is that the performance of Gabby and Chelsea proves that whether we win or whether we end up only a runner-up or a semifinals position or even not making it to the semis, it only proves na in terms of performance walang makakatalo sa pagiging powerhouse ng Pilipinas, because even if the odds are stacked against them, the Filipino Queens are unique in the sense that they give their all despite the obstacles challenging and facing them in their international competitions. Kahit na ayaw sa kanila nung mismong organization, ayaw sa kanila nung mga judges, laban pa din ang mga Filipina by giving their all. And I think that that demands respect from us sa mga pageant fans dito sa mga girls natin, because hindi basta-basta yung kanilang pinagdaanan, hindi basta-basta yung kanilang yung kanilang naging journey to these international competitions. Now, okay. Another point that I want to talk about is the fact that I think that the Binibining Pilipinas organization and the Binibining Pilipinas winners and our camps in return were able now to leverage learning from previous back-to-back challenges in 2014, in 2015, in 2019. Kumbaga, lahat ng mga back-to-back challenges natin sa pagkapanalo ni Mutia, ni Ann Collis, ni Bea Rose Santiago, these years na double back-to-back ang challenges natin sa mga Binibining Pilipinas winners natin, may mga natutunan ang mga girls natin, ang kanilang mga camps in leveling up yung kanilang back-to-back campaigns. And yun din yung isa sa mga reasons why I think very valid yung tampo ng mga Filipino pageant fans ngayon because what these girls did was something that was built on the previous na mga back-to-back challenge. Kumbaga, yung mga natutunan nila on wardrobe, on social media campaigning, on social media presence, on getting support from pageant fans, hyping them up, and getting people to talk about the international pageants. They executed it well in their campaign for Miss Globe and Miss International this year. So that I really have to, give a salute to the handlers, to the girls themselves, to the Binibing Pilipinas org, because everything that naging pagkakamali in the past na mga back-to-back campaigns, they made sure to get it right this time around. So wala tayong pwedeng maipintas from the org, from the girls, from their camps, because they did their they did their assignments well. Ayan. And let's do the comments na para malapit na tayong mag-wrap up. Okay. Ace Evans, hi Sir Justin, good morning. Rowan tested negative sa COVID naman. She got flu due to weather daw. Yes. If hindi niyo napapansin, mainit pag walang ulan, pero pag maulan, malamig yung tiyempo. So I think that's also what's happening with Roan, kasi ang Bangkok parang Pilipinas din yung climate in terms of yung init-lamig. Ken Batila, hi Ken, kumusta? Ayan, nandito si Ken. Ken, kung may mga mga patsaa ka diyan, labas mo na. Kasi I'm sure by mga nalalaman ka. Ayan. Gino says, hello Daddy Ken Batino. Ayan. Dahil dyan, nagkakaroon ng kung anik-anik. Okay, Jam Amihan, Intercontinental po Sir Justin, hindi po international. Yes, sorry about that. I think in one of my rants earlier, nabanggit ko ang international. That's supposed to be Miss Intercontinental. Now, ano pa ba yung pwede nating pag-usapan with regards to this pageant? It's just that, ayan, si Ken. Ken, may resibo. Sabi mo, may sasabihin ka sa akin. So, panghahawakan ko yan. Pag-usapan natin soon. So, overall, if I'm going to wrap what we've discussed, kung ano yung mga pinag-usapan natin ngayon, I think that it's about time that we be proud of the girls, whether they make semis, whether they make top 10, top 20, top 16, top 5, whether they get the crown or not. I think it's about time na we give the credence to the girls kapag trinabaho nila yung pageant, yung pageant campaign nila, yung pageant materials nila. We need to give them the recognition that they deserve. Samantha Panlilio did not make semis in Miss Grand International last year, but nakita mo na trinabaho niya, that she gave her all, na hindi siya nagkulang sa campaign niya for the Miss Grand International. Gabby, despite the odds, despite the fact that I'm sure nakarating sa kanya, nakaapekto sa kanya yung ayaw ng org ng back-to-back na challenge, na wins, na I'm sure merong mga patsaa din na involved diyan na may areglo na nangyari na nakaplanado na magkakaroon ng winner from another ASEAN country. She is still, and her team gave the best in the competition. Hindi siya nagkulang ng pasabog. Nagdala pa nga siya ng wig. My God, for the hindi lang wigs for the international competition, para lang to mix up her styling, just to give the org the endless possibilities that she can offer in terms of looks. So yun, and then we also have to discuss, yung the way na ginastosan si Chelsea sa Miss Globe. We also have to discuss yung the way na lumaban si Maureen and si Cindy in their years. So all of these girls, whether they make it into the winner's circle or in the semifinalist or not, they deserve our respect simply because despite all odds, binigay nila yung the best of their abilities. Hindi tayo mapapahiya doon sa performances nila overall. So I think that is something na we can take away from all of this, shenanigans. It's about time that we treat these queens, our national queens, with utmost respect because dito mo makikita na ang mga binibining Pilipinas girls, whether they make it or not, whether they lose, whether they win, whether they are rewarded commensurately with their efforts at their international competitions. They will always give their best. That is what separates our Filipina queens from other from other competitors because never mo silang nakitaan na siniraan yung organization because they didn't win. Never mo silang nakitaan on social media bad-mouthing the organization for shady practices. They keep their crowns on place at every turn. Hindi mo sila nakitaan ng hindi kagandahang ng masamang asal. They always are at their best. They always showcase professionalism at every turn and every point in the competition, and I think that deserves respect. And sabihin man natin that hindi man nila naiuwi yung corona, the mere fact that they are national winners and that they prove their merit in Binibining Pilipinas, which is, I believe, a national competition that is harder to win than some other international competitions, that automatically should earn them our respect. Okay, let's look at the comments for the final time before tayo mag-wrap up. Johnny B, hello from the Boliches, smiley face. Gino Diamat, if Rowan gets unplaced sa MGI, it means that he just used PPCI for clout. Naman! And with the new MGI-PH under a new franchise, the more our Pinoy pageant fans will not support the international pageant. In short, wala nang mauto si Nuwat sa mga Pinoy. Prayer Matters by Ana Maria Foz. They did so well. Congratulations to both of them. They deserve the crown. What happened there, we do not know. And yon. Gino also adds na, and to the new franchise holder, a big good luck to you and the future candidates of that pageant. Simply Lurker is saying na thank you BPCI Queens for representing the Philippines well. That I think is the sentiment of majority of the Filipino pageant fans ngayon kasi natunghayan nila yung competition. And the proof is in the pudding. You can see yung performances ng mga candidates natin. Pulido, malinis, wala kang maipintas. Johnny B, would you want to see Gabby and Chelsea join another pageant? Kung kaya pa nila, kung gusto pa nila, at kapag matapos na nila yung kanilang reigns as Binibining Pilipinas, why not? John Trevor Jacobson, sir, let's congratulate Alexandra Rosales. Yes! Alexandra May Rosales wins the Miss Supermodel Worldwide Competition in Jaipur, India. Congratulations. Another Binibining Pilipinas alum in 2021. So, it goes to say na kahit na-candidate ka pa lang you're just a candidate in Binibining Pilipinas, you are very well prepared enough to to win international crowns. Yun yung masasabi ko sa Binibining Pilipinas na kahanga-hanga, na kahit candidate ka lang at hindi ka man lang nag-place sa semis ng Binibining Pilipinas, you're that strong to win international competitions. Kaya ko naman nabanggit na among the national competitions here in the Philippines, Binibining Pilipinas is the hardest to win. Kasi candidate pa lang nila, pwede nang ibato sa international na mga pageants. Okay, so final thoughts. Tsaa. Yung tsaa. Ayun. Bago natin makalimutan yung tsaa. Okay, disclaimer dito sa mga tsaa na i-share ko sa inyo. I think that we need to just to be careful dito sa mga patsaa na to, sa mga chismis na ito, because even I haven't had the time to confirm or to in-depth talk about this with people in the know. But yung mga tsaa was that yung dalawang orgs daw ayaw talaga ng back-to-back wins this year. And even before the finals, mag-upisa yung finals, narinig na ako na yun na nga ayaw nila, and they are looking for other ASEAN girls, looking at ASEAN girls as possible winners. Kasi nakuha na nila yung clout dito sa Pinas. So, kumbaga, it's time to expand. And I think that's the reason why nasabi ko din na tawag ito, na ang mangyayari nito magkakaroon ng mga panalo from Indonesia, from Thailand, from Vietnam, and other Southeast Asian countries in the next several years. Kasi yun na nga, ang clout nasa atin, yung power on social media nasa mga fans na ito. That is why pag nakikita nyo kapag may mga voting system sa Miss Universe, anong country ba yung parating nananalo? Kasi nga, willing silang maglabas ng pera para sa mga paid voting ng Miss Universe. And that is why for the past 2 years, kapag ina-announce yung mga paid voting na winners, dun sa country na galing yun mananalo. And kung totoo yung chismis na gusto ng Intercon na mag-host sila doon, so it makes sense na magpanalo ka ng taga doon, dahil it will allow you to have easier access doon sa mga resources ng national org na igapang nila yung hosting dun sa country na yon. Now, with regards naman dun sa chismis na ang Globe gustong mag-hold ng pageant dito sa Pilipinas. They already have Maureen, the connections they were able to get doon sa pagkapanalo ni Maureen. So, madali na lang na i-arreglo yun if totoo nga na gusto nilang mag-host dito sa Pilipinas. But for now, from what I know, mas malaki yung chances na ganapin ang Miss International dito sa Pilipinas than any other pageant franchise ng Binibining Pilipinas that they hold currently. Kasi ang nakarating sa amin na chismis is gusto ng Miss International org na ICA, International Cultural Association, na dalhin ang pageant nila sa ibang bansa. And if Araneta City, the Araneta City management, as well as the Binibining Pilipinas Charities Incorporated are open to the idea, then we could easily see the Miss International competition here in the Philippines. So that's the tea. Now, with regards doon sa mga usapan na may inareglo sa loob para manalo si ganyan at si ganon, bantayan nyo na lang yung mga wins ng mga countries na involved. Kasi makikita nyo na kahit sometimes hindi deserving yung mga nananalo, hindi ganon kagandahan o kagwapuhan yung mga nanalo, nagkakaroon ng placement sa top 5, na nanalo ng corona, tapos boom, maya-maya marinig mo na lang na may balak silang mag-host. And alam naman natin na pahirapan kumuha ng hosting license doon sa bansa na yon. So, pwede nga na may katotohanan yung mga chismis na naaareglo. I am not saying na hindi deserving yung girl or yung guy na manalo, but I am also saying na hindi magkakaroon ng ganitong pervasive na rumor among pageant insiders if there's no iota of truth to that. There was this male international pageant na ginanap dito sa Pilipinas several years back, na gulat yung mga spectator na paano nakapasok yung isang hindi kagawapuhan na guy coming from a very strong na pageant country for male pageants. Tapos yun pala ang bulong-bulungan is pambayad utang yan kasi nag-host yung country na yon ng male international competition nung mga nakaraang taon, kaya wala silang choice kundi ipasok sa top 5 yung guy na yan. So may mga ganung mga usapan at hindi yan mawawala sa pageant industry, hindi yan mawawala na magiging pervasive siya na rumor. But again, ang gusto ko lang na gawin ninyo is manmanan nyo lang yung mga patterns na nangyayari, dahil it will give you a clue whether or not may merit yung pagkapanalo ng mga bansang ito. Okay? So, kayo nang bahala na mag-decipher kung ano yung meaning ng tsaa. I believe that the Filipino fans are one of the most intelligent people, pageant fans around, and especially yung mga scripters natin. I am 100% sure na you're very sharp in deciphering yung mga ganong clues. Kung yung gay linggo nga na mga patsa ako na inintindihan niyo, so how much more ito? Ayan, okay, huling-huli na to na mga comments before we log off, kasi kinakailangan na natin na mag-prepare for other stuff. Okay? Message ni Dorothy V. Jones. Chelsea, you made us proud. That Binibini polished performance is always evident. Tito Do Segovia, Chelsea, you deserved it and we are so proud of you. Congrats. Andy 465, correct. We just need to connect the dots. Diba? Yorn. Travel Junkie, hello sir. Umiglip lang ni sa palive. Umidlip lang ni pa-live ka na. Miss International is a yes. Kotang-kota na tayo sa kanila. Pam Joy Seryosa, thank you Sir Jason. Gerson, my name is Jason. Gerson is the designer. Friend ko din yon sa time namin with Catriona. Kami yung patagong team na nag-assemble, nag-conceptualize para doon sa national costume niya for Binibini. Ayan. I think that's the last of the comments. So guys, thank you very much for joining yung ating pa-live ngayon. Thank you very much for joining and discussing yung kinakailangan nating pailabas para hindi na tayo maging burdened with all of these thoughts, these opinions na we need an outlet to. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for the hour that you spent with me. I will be posting several videos coming soon na I just need to clean up yung mga videos na ito before I post here on YouTube. I hope na panoorin nyo din sila. But for now, I hope that you like and subscribe on my channel, that you share this live video to your friends para lumaki yung ating community together. So that's it, everyone. I hope you have a great day ahead and see you again soon. Bye, everyone!